The PlayStation. This has got to be without a doubt one of the greatest gaming inventions produced by Sony. Lots of great games were made for this thing. Crash Bandicoot, Spyro the Dragon, Ape Escape, and the famous Metal Gear Solid and Final Fantasy VII. This system had the greatest gaming experiences, and even had some hidden gems that not a lot of people know about. A few personal favorites of mine, like Crash Bash, Inuyasha, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater, and Powerpuff Girls. The PS1 was a smash hit, and developed a whole lineup of upgraded systems, the PS2, PS3, and the latest system, the PS4.
One of the many games for the original PS1 is a cult classic, which most people know by now. It is called Castlevania Symphony of the Night.
The original Castlevania was a side-scrolling vampire hunting adventure, unfortunately with very slow whipping. Back then, Castlevania on NES was probably one of the best non-Mario adventures made possible by Konami. After the success of the first Castlevania, many sequels have spawned, with Simon's Quest and Dracula's Curse, which formed the Castlevania NES trilogy. After that, a bunch more games were made. Super Castlevania 4, Dracula X, Adventure, Legends. There were so many games about a guy whipping vampires.
Then came the ultimate Castlevania game, which is the most talked about and praised on the internet.
This has got high ratings across the board. Every gaming website you look at, you will see it most likely in the high 90s. I know that James Rolfe has already talked about this one before, but I thought that I would be a little bit more in-depth with this one, which means that I will try to cover as much as I can.
Well, with that out of the way, let's get to it.
I am so nostalgic for the startup screen, and so are you, don't deny it.
Konami, you used to be so good back in the day. What happened? Oh, right. That happened.
Let's finally start up the actual game now.
Wait, are we at the end? This seems a bit strange, don't you think?
Well, actually, this is the ending to Rondo of Blood, which was on the PC Engine, or the TurboGrafx 16 as it's called in North America.
Die, monster! You don't belong in this world!
Wow, the cheese is really showing in this.
In flesh. What is a man?
A big pile of flesh? A big stinky human? A weird person to be around?
A miserable little pile of secrets.
Oh, that was the answer. Looks like I failed this quiz.
So, as Richter, we fight Dracula, who transforms halfway through the fight into this monstrosity. Here's a tip, even if you are close to losing, the game won't even let you die. Instead, Maria comes in and gives Richter invincibility to finish off Dracula. And with the fight over, it turns into a picture and burns away? Huh. We get some backstory, which explains what happened between the final battle and the real beginning of the game. We play as Alucard, and we begin with the best weapon in the game, which makes everything explode and catch fire. Because we eventually get to Death, who immediately takes away all your good items. Isn't that a tease? So, along the way, we have to acquire weapons, shields, and various other items and accessories to improve our stats. The gameplay here is similar to the Metroid series of games, with an open-world math system, which kinda acts like a maze of sorts, and the level up and stat system is similar to that of most RPG games, such as Final Fantasy and Dragon Quest. The combination of these gameplay mechanics really puts a new twist on the classic Castlevania formula of gameplay, which has been used for most of the portable titles on the Game Boy Advance and the Nintendo DS. The backgrounds are beautiful. Each one fits an area with different tones and colors that match the atmosphere of the game. The graphics are mostly sprite-based. Despite the PS1 being more capable of 3D graphics, Konami went the 2D route for this game. Considering how large the game is, this pretty much proves that you do not need all the bells and whistles of a 3D capable system to make a great game. Along the way, you fight many various bosses, which can either prove to be a challenge or a complete joke. For me, a majority of them were super easy, though it depends on personal skill level. When you defeat a boss, you get an extra health extension, which is very helpful, since later enemies can take away a mass amount of health. Also, there are some little cutscenes in between each part where we meet Maria, who happens to be looking for Richter Belmont.
You seem human, and yet, what do you here?
There is a huge variety of enemies that this game is filled to the brim with. Skeletons, ghosts, demons, zombies, wolves, you name it. Every imaginable monster from any monster movie can pretty much be found here. And let's not forget about the music. I don't really need to explain, so just listen for yourselves. The control is also pretty smooth and not dated at all. You have two buttons, one for each hand. You can have a weapon in one hand and have a shield in the other, or you can hold a two-handed weapon, whichever you prefer. Some of the control is a little weird. If you want to attack downward diagonally, you have to either jump, then hold down the down button before attacking, or hold down and either left or right to attack diagonally while on the ground. Get ready for your fingers to hurt from that. You also have this backslide, which, to be honest, makes you go faster than just walking. I have been going through most of the game this way.
Wow, I am running out of things to talk about right now, but I'm gonna keep going.
You also have a magic meter, which comes into use later. Along the way, you can grab abilities like the bat form, wolf form, and a mist cloud, which eventually becomes a gas cloud, which is an easy way to kill enemies without getting yourself hurt. And just like in the original Castlevania games, you have a sub-weapon, which can vary from a knife to holy water. Most of the time, I use the holy water, which seems to be the most effective on most enemies and boss characters. Once you get to Richter Belmont, he claims that he is the lord of the castle now, and we must fight him. After defeating him, the castle disappears into the night, and Alucard leaves Maria, and the game is over. Right?
Run!
This is actually one of the many endings to the game. This one happens to be the bad ending, which you get by killing Richter. If you want, you can find Maria in the center of the castle, and she will give you the holy glasses, which you equip before the fight with Richter. Once you do that, a green orb mysteriously appears, allowing you to attack it. After defeating it, we get the inverted castle. This is pretty much what it is. The castle map is turned upside down, and you have to go through the whole thing again pretty much. The enemies here are upgraded and have more attack power to really give you a challenge. If you are going to be attempting this, you are going to need lots of potions and health items. Most of the bosses here now, instead of dropping life extensions, now drop pieces of Dracula, which can increase some of your stats. Also, something I forgot to mention, there is this rare weapon called the Chrysogrim, which has a rapid-fire slicing action, which can quickly dispose of any enemy and any boss, so I applaud anyone who gets this thing. Oh, sweet. Now I can go through the whole game like a madman! Once we get through the whole castle again, we meet the Dark Priest Shaft. Chrysogrim our way through this fight, and then Dracula. He turns into this 300 monster, but that doesn't matter, because we can Chrysogrim our way through it now! After that, we get another ending. Alucard leaves, and Maria and Richter watch him.
Alucard?
Then, we get a pretty cool ending song, composed by Rika Muranaka, which I happen to have her autograph on the manual, so lucky me! So, that was the game. Is it still fun? Yes! So, as you can tell, the game is beautiful in more ways than one. There is probably more to talk about that I missed, but that doesn't matter, since words are not really enough to describe the game in itself. Everything is pretty much amazing. The gameplay, music, graphics, and the story, not so much the voice acting though.
What is a man? A miserable little pile of secrets!
Something to point out, I did not get the true ending to this. In order to do that, you have to uncover the entire map, both the regular and the inverted castle. But with the amount of footage I had to record, and most of the time that I was recording this, I kept looking at my phone for the map of the game, considering how large the map is and how easy it is to get lost. So too bad. Go look up the ending on YouTube. Everyone has posted it by now.
This has got to be one of the most beautiful and best games on the PS1. Considering how well known the system is for the 3D graphics, with games like Crash Bandicoot and Ape Escape, Symphony of the Night did things differently. They played it safe and decided to stick to the 2D Castlevania style.
This game is available on most modern game consoles nowadays, including the Xbox 360, the PSP, and the original unaltered PS1 classic on the PS3 digital storefront.
So if you ever get the chance, pick this game up, you will not regret it. Unless you live in Europe, in which case, good luck getting the original PS1 disc.
Thanks for watching this video. If you like that, then click the subscribe button. And if you want to watch more videos like this, then click these boxes. I hope to see everyone soon with my next game review.